All right, welcome back to Ion Radio. We are in our final battle here for our ACES Scouring Sands campaign. We're against the bulk of the Jade Falcon forces here on Apolakkia. So it's all come down to this. The Alina Mercantile League against the Jade Falcons, with the Ion Raiders and the people of Rhodes here getting bloody in between them. So the bitter, vengeful remnants of the 18th Falcon regulars are advancing on the capital city of Rhodes, and they're out for one thing: blood. We've done what we can to establish a defensive perimeter. We've tried to funnel the Falcons where we can and channel them to fight them piecemeal, but we will have to fight all of them. So the people of Rhodes are counting on us, and the Alina Mercantile League has hired us to liberate them, not get the civilians killed. So if we stand aside, the city's going to burn. So, John, I guess what that means is we can't let the city burn. We have to take out the Jade Falcons.
Yes. If you remember from our last mission, we fought them to the very end. We're going to be fighting them to the very end again.
So we have an opportunity to do a little bit of reconnaissance here. And we do not have Shattered Shield, but we can deploy a couple extra mines.
We're going to spend 200 SP, and then we're going to read 19Z. You detail 2 squads of troops in their cargo trucks to round up whatever mines and munitions you can find stockpiled within Rhodes and nearby. They return with not as much as you'd hope, but maybe it will be enough. These mines make waypoints representing your minefield deployment more efficient. Gain the keyword dense.
So the other items here is we can deploy some emplacements, John, and I think we should do that.
Yes. We have chosen to spend the 100 SP to deploy 2 medium emplacements, skill 4. These emplacements have to be in the blue area outlined on top of a building. So you can see here, we've placed one here and one there, guarding the southern front. So waypoint setup, A through H are shuffled and put down, and these represent minefields that will trigger when they walk by them. They can't be 3 inches close to each other, so we have to be farther than 3 inches out, and then they'll trigger when they walk within 6 of them. So we have heavily mined this side of the table, and then we just have some, wherever they want to get cover, there's going to be a minefield to go off there.
No, definitely looking forward to a couple Jade Falcon forces moving into mines. We don't know which ones are which. I'm sure, John, we're going to run across one that says dud mine and another one that blows a bunch of stuff up. So
exactly.
I guess we'll find out. So on the track, we have put waypoint India on turn 2. John's shuffled J and K, and they are now on turns 3 and 4. We don't know which one's which or what any of these do. And then there's this keyword we don't have, send off, John.
Correct. So the keyword send off says that if we don't have it, place waypoint L on top of the Thunderbolt 2C card. And because we don't have send off, the Thunderbolt 2C becomes the commander of this force.
So when he comes out on the table, he's our primary objective. So, John, why don't you talk about how we have ourselves deployed? Because we had an interesting little chit-chat on this, and this is kind of your idea and your plan, so let's see what we can do.
Put all the blame on me already.
Of course.
So we have to start inside the blue zone, which is basically from the back edge of the table to where we have these dotted red cubes. We have all of our non-jumping heavier mechs on this side of the table. All of our jumping mechs right here, and then the rifleman. And the locust, because it doesn't care if there's water or not, because it can basically get from one side of the table to the other, he's positioned there. So the idea is we heavily mined this area. This area has emplacement cover. We're going to take our heavier mechs through this area, sweep and secure it, jumping mechs into the middle, and then we're going to push them back into that corner.
Now watch every single mech come out from the northwestern side of the map.
That's fine, though. We have all of our heavy hitters right there. Okay, we're going to talk about where our pilots are. So first, we have the commander, Redline. He is on his Blood Asp. He is skill 4. He has 6 edge tokens and 2 abilities. His abilities are Patient and Coolant Flush. Then we have second in command. He has returned from being injured. Gravehammer. He is on his Timberwolf. He is skill 3 and has 4 edge tokens and no abilities. Next, we have Jade Hawk. It is Freddy, our stabby stab boy. He has skill 4, 7 edge tokens, 2 abilities. He has melee specialist and the assassin trait. Lastly, our pilot in the Shadowhawk is... where is he? He's right here. Barfly. Barfly has skill 4, 6 edge tokens, 2 abilities, being Nimble and Speed Demon.
So we're going to see how the forces come out. Enemy forces start off map. The first 4 forces, it'll be 2 Fulcrum tanks, the Rifleman, and the Summoner will show up during turn 1 in movement. Then there's 3 different locations that they can come from, all on the west side of the map. So we've got, we'll roll a d6, and they're either going to come from one of these 3 waypoints here. So primary objective here is we have to destroy the enemy commander. In this case, that is the Thunderbolt 2C. And we have to be the only force with units on the map. So until that Thunderbolt comes out, we cannot accomplish our primary objective. Secondary objective is at the end of the sortie, we will score the 1,200 points, but for every building that's been damaged, we'll lose 100 support points for it. And then the sortie will go until either one side has no remaining units or 10 turns. So this could potentially be a longer game.
I hope not. We're going to blow them up fast. We've already talked about enemy deployment, the movement phase. If the enemy is within 6, we reveal the waypoint and read what the minefield does. And then we also have combat phase, stray fire. Whenever a hit would have hit without the +1 from cover or being on a building, the building will take damage. So we're going to try to avoid that, but, no promises.
Gravehammer checking in. Let's scrap these rust buckets. Yeehaw! Freddy's here and he's ready to go!
This is Barfly. Let's finish this up quick and get back to the bar for last orders.
Turn 1 initiative. They are green. We are blue. Let us see what it comes up. We are going to win first round initiative, so they're going to come onto the table first.
First enemy mech to come out is going to be the Summoner. Coming in 0.5, that's the southwestern portion of the map. Brawler card 253. So the Summoner is looking at its different options, and since we don't have anything that's moved, it's going to take a balanced approach. Its target will be the Rifleman, and based on its what it's looking to do, cover and get closer to it, we've decided it's going to take its jump from here, land right around here. Now that'll give it a level of cover because of the building going to the Rifleman. It does, however, put it within 6 inches of a couple different waypoints. So it's just going to be these two. So we have to determine which one's the nearest. So it's going to be this one here, John.
Okay, go ahead and flip it over.
We are looking at Waypoint Echo.
Waypoint Echo. The minefield was set up in a by-the-books gamma formation pattern spread. For once, the book was right. A Falcon moved right into it and gets battered for their trouble. The enemy unit that revealed this waypoint suffers 1 damage. If you have the dense keyword, the unit suffers 1 additional damage. Then discard this token.
So 2 damage.
That's pretty huge.
I'm happy with that. We've taken out 1/3 of its armor. We haven't even had the fire shot yet, John.
Beautiful.
All right, TMM on that is 3 because of its jump. Then we have to move 3 mechs. So we're going to move the Rifleman first, and Rifleman's got a limited amount of movement here. So what we've decided to do is we're going to move the Rifleman over here into the trees. And make sure I got that point in the right direction. And that's pretty much his max movement, John. So, but we now have a clear line of fire, line of sight to the Summoner, and maybe the Summoner will turn towards that mine. TMM is 1.
Next, we're going to move our Loki Mark II. It's going to jump. It is a jump strong, and it's going to jump kind of in the middle of the table with its back against this building for a TTM of 3, holding down basically this entire corner section. Last on our first group of movement, we're going to move the Warhammer forward. It's 8 inches right here. Like the Rifleman, it's very limited in where it can actually move because of its speed, so it's going to have a TTM of 1.
Next Jade Falcon forced to move is going to be one of the Fulcrum heavy hover tanks. This is using the Striker hover card 678. Let's see where it comes on board. And we're moving into section 4, which is right in the middle. Let's see what happens. All right, so our Fulcrum's moving on to the board. We're going to be using a balanced approach here, and it's looking to get closer to its target, which in this case is the Loki that we just jumped next to the building. Its key here, John, is that we're looking for woods cover against the most number of enemies, and there's really only 1 spot for it to come onto the table. It's going to hang out over here. So no real woods cover from the Warhammer, but everything else has to shoot through the woods to get to it. And it has a TMM of 4. Now, we are next to, I think it's this one's pretty clear that it's this,
that one.
This minefield. We are looking at minefield Delta.
Delta, thanks to the militia and their demolition expertise, no doubt due to generations of mining and munitions work, explosives are in their blood. An enemy unit is rocked hard by a mine and left hamstrung. The enemy unit that revealed this waypoint suffers 1 damage and suffers an MP hit critical. That's amazing on that tank for us. If you have the dense word, the unit suffers 1 additional damage, then discard this waypoint. Okay, after much deliberation, Ken and I have decided because the vehicle has taken damage, we're going to roll on the motive critical hit because it's a vehicle. Maybe wrong, but hey, more damage is more fun. That's an 11 plus something, I believe.
11. Let's see. A hover adds +1, so that's 12. John, the unit is immobilized.
Beautiful.
That's the black one.
Sure. And we replace its TTM die.
Oh, well, it just goes to 0.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be an easy one to take out.
Yeah. I'm going to be really honest, Ken. That probably was the best bang for our, literally bang bang for our buck that we've ever spent on pre-game stuff is this minefield so far.
Honestly, yeah, and the dents really helped out getting effectively an extra hit out of it. Wow, okay, and randomized placement that it happened to be on a tank.
Yeah, and then a good motive hit too to immobilize it.
Yeah.
Because it was during the movement phase and everything takes effect in that phase, critical-wise, before combat, it's going to have a TTM of 0 in combat because it's immobilized, so it's going to be a -4 to hit, I believe.
I think that's a dead tank.
Cool. And we have the tank killer right in front of it with its heat weapon.
Yeah. Oh, this is going to be fun. All right, well, back to our forces. John, we got 3 to move now.
Okay, so for our movement, we're going to start with the Jade Hawk. It's going to move right up next to the Warhammer and just prepare for whatever comes this way.
Then we're going to take our pair of the Spider and the Scout. We're going to jump both of them over the river, through the woods, and to Grandma's house they go. Back over here. And they're here just in case the Shadowhawk is not capable of taking the Fulcrum tank out.
And that will do it for our 3 of movement. Back to the Jade Falcons.
So the next Jade Falcon to move is going to be another mech, the Rifleman C3, using Sniper Movement card 785. Where does it come onto the table? Southwest corner again, section 6. Rifleman is using Balanced Approach because there are moved enemies within 24 inches. It is looking for something it can shoot at and in blue. But it only can shoot at one thing, that is the Rifleman. So it's going to use its ground movement. It wants to get closer. It wants to occupy woods. So this Rifleman's going to do this funny thing, John, of slowly going up into the woods, stopping here, displacing some trees, and setting off a mine. Let's see what fun we can have here, John. We are looking at waypoint Bravo.
Bravo. The Jade Falcons can almost always be counted on to rush in too quickly for their own good. An oncoming unit provides this by charging directly into a minefield. It literally did that, which is really funny.
Yeah.
The enemy unit that revealed this waypoint suffers 2 damage. If you have the dense keyword, the unit suffers 1 additional damage. Discard the waypoint.
At 3 damage on the Rifleman.
It's beautiful. It's just absolutely beautiful.
The story is kind of writing itself here, isn't it, John? All right, well, back to our forces.
First, we're going to be moving the Flea, mainly because the Shadowhawk kind of wants to be right where it is. It moves 22 inches, so it's going to run here across the bridge and then tuck in right next to this building so that it can see the Rifleman and the Thor cannot see it.
Our next move will then be the Shadowhawk. This is Barfly, this has become one of his favorite mechs now to pilot. Shadowhawk going to sit here. We're looking to, again, same thing. We have no line of sight between the 2 mechs.
We're good.
But we have a great line of sight here to the Rifleman, and the Rifleman's going to be easier to hit anyways. So that's kind of our idea here for movement.
Okay. Flea, 4 TTM, and the Shadowhawk is going to be 2.
Final Jade Hawk is the last Fulcrum Heavy Hover tank using Striker Hover card 828. Where are we coming on the board? Folks, we're going right in the middle. Fulcrum here, it's looking, can it get behind the nearest moved enemy? And the answer is yes, because that Spider is the nearest and it can get behind it. So aggressive behavior here. Can it get behind the target, which still is the Spider? The answer is yes. So the yellow Fulcrum tank comes onto the map here, goes all the way around, does this Tokyo Drift turn right behind the Spider. And there's its little yellow bit. However, with the TMM of 4, it does happen to be right next to a minefield here. Waypoint Alpha. John, what damage is it going to do to the Fulcrum?
Let us find out. Alpha, your combat engineers deserve a raise. They honestly really do. I mean, honestly, everything that we've read so far is like, this is exactly what's going on in the story. Deserve a raise. The enemy hits a mine in a well-saturated zone. Exactly according to plan. The enemy unit that revealed this waypoint suffers 1 damage. If you have the dents, suffer an additional damage. So 2 damage, and now we get to roll for a motive hit.
5 plus 1 is 6, no effect.
Aw, unfortunate. I mean, but we've gotten so much free damage on basically every single unit in this entire thing.
I don't know that we can really complain about this at all, John. So
No.
We remove this one, right?
Correct.
Very good. Back to our forces here.
Okay, both of our remaining units, the commander and sub-commander, if we're Romulans, and the Star Adder and the Mad Cat are both going to go onto the table, and they're going to aim toward these tanks just like this with TTMs of 2. Jade Falcon shooting phase. We're going to be starting with the Summoner. He is going to be targeting the Rifleman. He is going to be needing 9s, and he's going to be rolling 5 dice.
Let's see what we got here for opening shots, John. All right, so we have 1 hit out of the 5, so 1 on the Rifleman. Not bad. Clearly he's having problems because he's firing in woods, out of woods. Trees are getting in the way of the Rifleman's guns.
Next, we have the normal Falcon tank. It's going to be targeting the Loki. It's going to be needing 7s, and it's going to be rolling 2 dice.
Let's see what we get. Immobile. So 1 hit, which makes a lot of sense considering the amount of mines that exploded around it.
Jade Falcon Rifleman now is going to be targeting the Shadowhawk because it wants to target what has the most movement. We were hoping for some Rifleman on Rifleman action here, but it decided differently. It's going to be needing 7s with 4 sets of dice.
All right, here we go. All 4 hit, John. Riflemans are good at shooting.
That Shadowhawk has 2 pips of armor remaining.
Yeesh.
Last for the Jade Falcons, we have Fulcrum Tank Yellow. It's going to be shooting at the Oscout because it wants to shoot what has the least amount of structure, and it's going to be a rear shot. We're going to be looking for 7s on 3 sets of dice with the added rear shot.
Here we go. Only 1 hit, John. The Tokyo Drift was too much for it.
That is 25% of the Oscout's total health, though.
Yeah, but it's a light mech, so... Ion Raiders ready to return our fire, and we're going to start with Rifleman on Rifleman action. We are looking for 8s on 3 hit point potential.
Here we go. That's going to be 1 hit on that Rifleman.
Yeah. Chipping away at that armor. Continuing our assault on the Rifleman is the Flea, also looking for 8s, but only 2 potential damage, John.
That also is going to be 1 hit.
Chip away is correct. So we have 1 armor left on the Rifleman. Shadowhawk is our next opportunity to take it down. We are looking for 8s, 4 sets of dice. We are just within medium range.
Only 1 hit initially, but that is Barfly, and he's going to spend an edge point to kick us up into 2 damage.
All right, that 2nd damage, John, goes into the structure, so Barfly gets the first crit on a mech.
Here we go for the critical hit. I saw the 6 and was hoping for a 12, but we rolled a 7.
So that is a movement hit.
It's already a slow mech.
So we have 2 emplacements on the board. We've got the north and the south one. Both have decided to target the Rifleman. The north one is at long range, so it needs a 9 to hit, and the south one needs a 7.
Okay, so the blue dice are going to need a 7, and the red dice are going to be needing a 9. They reversed that on us. The long range one misses, and the one that's closer does 1 point of damage.
Still a critical hit.
Rolling for the critical. Another 7.
Another movement hit. So we're out of things to shoot at the rifleman, John. We got to move on to another target. So let's take a look at that fulcrum that is not moving because it lost all of its hover capability in the minefield. Loki's going to fire at it first. We have 3 sets of dice, 2 of them have heat. And John, you need 3s.
Okay, the heat are going to be the red and the orange ones. See if we can score a bunch of damage on it. That's going to be all hits. So 5 total damage because the heat affects the vehicle.
So we have knocked into structure. So we get a motive hit and a crit.
Which one would you like to do first?
Oh, let's do the motive one just because it's funny.
Okay, motive. It is a 5.
6, no effect. So, but what about the critical, John?
It is going to be a 4.
So 4 is a fire control hit. +2 for it to hit anything. I don't think it's going to be around long enough for us to worry about it.
No, I don't think it is.
Spider's next up and does 2 auto points against the fulcrum. It needs 2s.
Let's roll, see if we get more crits. No crits.
But that is a destroyed fulcrum. So Oscout has no shot. We move on to our heavies, which are going to target the other fulcrum tank. This is the one that managed to get behind some of our jumping units. So first up is the Blood Asp, looking for 10s. It has 6 sets of dice, 1 of which is heat.
Okay, the heat is going to be the red ones, because it's fire. That is going to be a complete miss, and we're not even in range to bump things up with edge.
Warhammer will take the next shot at the same fulcrum tank, also needing 10s, 4 sets of dice.
That also is going to be completely misses.
Ugh. Moving along, the Jade Hawk, 5 sets of dice, looking for 10s at that fulcrum. John, this fulcrum's getting away from us.
Can we do any damage to it? We're going to spend an edge point to increase our 1 hit up to 2 damage going in. That Freddy has 7 edge points, so we might as well use them.
Gotta use them for something, John. Freddy likes to blow things up. And now we have the Mad Cat with Grave Hammer, our 1 skill 3 pilot. So he's just as good as the Jade Falcons here. Also firing at the Fulcrum Yellow, needing 9s on 7 sets of dice, because, I mean, it's a Mad Cat.
Let's see if we get any hits. We're going to spend an edge. We're going to cause 2 points of damage.
So there is something nice about that, John. First of all, we get a motive systems hit. Actually, we forgot to do one for the last one.
We did. So we'll do the motive hit for the Jade Hawk first, and then we'll do the motive hit for the Timberwolf, and then we'll do the critical
for the Timberwolf.
Yeah, here we go. So, Jade Hawk 1. That's going to be 5.
6, no effect.
The Timberwolf 1. That's going to be a 7, 8.
No effect.
Okay, critical roll. It's going to be a 7.
So that is an MP hit.
Eventually we got it.
All right, John, that's all combat here for turn 1, so we move into our end phase. There's no special sortie rules, so we get to skip that. That tank, the Fulcrum tank, has now been completely destroyed. We're going to apply heat, but I don't think anyone had any heat. So moving into checking our objectives, Commander is not out on the table, so primary objective has not been done yet, but we do change the strategy cards. So running down the list, their objective is to stay till they're all gone. There are no enemies in a Jade Falcon rear. There are no enemies with no armor. But the Jade Falcons did lose more PV worth of units, so they get Commander Card C. And finally, move into turn 2, revealing Waypoint India.
Waypoint India, your nav reports multiple inbound contacts. The Assault Mechs have finally arrived to join the fray. The Bane and the Marauder 2C, Units 7 and 8, arrive this turn. If you do not have the keyword send-off, which we don't, The Thunderbolt 2C Unit 9 also arrives this turn. These units will follow the enemy deployment special rules.
Oof. And we have to remember now the commander is the Thunderbolt, so John, he will be on the table turn 2.
Starting turn 2, they have a ton of units inbound. So it will be interesting to see when they come onto the table. We're going to be rolling now for initiative. We are at -2 because we won the last initiative. We are the blue dice, they are the green dice. And we definitely lost that.
Yeah, just a little bit. So it's our turn to move first, John, and we have to move 2 mechs, and we're going to start with the rifleman. He's going to do this little shimmy through the forest. We're going to displace some trees, and he's going to hang out over here, still facing the rifleman, because I think we can take him out. And then we're going to move the Shadowhawk. We are spending our edge point here, Barfly is, to get the Nimble special effect. John, while I move the Shadowhawk, can you tell us what Nimble does?
So Nimble is going to be increasing their TTM, and we're also allowed to move through enemy units, but we don't have to worry about that. If our printed TTM was 3 or more, it would have cost us 2 edge points, but with him being so damaged, we just want to have the best chance of staying alive with him as possible. Because if he dies this turn, then all that edge goes to waste anyway.
Right. Well, that's our movement. So now we move on to Jade Falcons. Jade Falcon, the first one is going to be the Bane using Juggernaut card 11. Let's see where he comes on the board. Of course. So the Bane is going to use a balanced approach, because he's not on the board yet, he can't shoot at anything. Looking to get closer to the target, which in this case is the flea, just due to proximity. It can't get into these woods that are up in front and still retain a shot, but it is going to benefit from cover. So it pulls itself right up here, and taking a look at the flea.
Okay, we're going to be moving our Warhammer. It is the slowest of our stuff. He's going to be moving right here and hoping that he can shoot. He's just in range of where the current Thor is down over there, which makes it really rough because everything else is at long range. And then we're basically going to be doing the same thing with our Jade Hawk and moving it right here. And we're attempting now. Our goal was to funnel things over there, not for everything to start over there. So TTM 1 on the Warhammer, TTM 2 on the Jade Hawk.
Next Jade Falcon forced to move on is the Commander, the Thunderbolt 2C, using Skirmisher card 284. Let's see where he shows up. In the center. Let's see what he does. The Thunderbolt, looking at what we have, Ideal Red has not moved. That's the Loki. So we moved into Balanced because there are a bunch of moved mechs that are within 30 inches of that center point. And it's going to wind up ultimately targeting the Loki. It wants to be an attack range of at least 1 moved enemy, which is a lot. It cannot occupy those woods because it's too far away. And it wants to stay about 12 inches away from the Loki. So we took a look and decided that our best option, the Thunderbolt's best option is going to be here, so that it has line of sight to the Loki and has a little bit of cover, because we figure that's kind of why it wants to occupy woods. And the TMM is 2.
2. It will trigger a mine, though.
All right, let's take a look at what that mine does, John. That is Waypoint Hotel.
A minefield detonates, but does not only cosmetic damage. Discard this way token. Oh, that is unfortunate.
See,
that's the one we needed to do lots of damage on.
We got all the good ones with the tanks.
With the Commander on the table, we're going to move our heavy hitters into range. So the Blood Asp is going to move right here, and it's going to be targeting it. And then the Mad Cat with Gravehammer is going to move a little bit farther forward. This puts him just in range of the Bane. So theoretically, if we kill the commander, he can throw his dice downrange onto the Bane, and we can start damaging that monstrosity.
So will Gravehammer shoot at the Thunderbolt or the Bane? Stay tuned and we'll find out. Speaking of finding out, next is another Jade Falcon mech to move onto the board. That is the Marauder 2C using Skirmisher Jump Strong card 324. John, where's it coming?
6. Corner of the... Everything's down there. I think we're going to just corner them in now.
Yeah, well, now we know where they're at. All right. So the Marauder is going to use balanced movement here. And it's picking on the Flea, which hasn't moved yet, but I mean, hey, that's what it's going to do. Jumping, it wants to have attack range to one moved enemy. Stay about 12 inches away from the Flea. It can't really move into the woods, and it wants cover against most number of enemies. So it's going to take its Jump Strong, hop onto the table, right here. So now we've got tons of wood cover from our big heavies over here. We've got a shot at the Flea. That's pretty much where we're at, John. TMM of 3 because of the Jump Strong.
We're going to move our guys. Unfortunately, we still have to move 2 here. And we don't get to see where anything that was currently on the board at the beginning gets to go. So we're going to do the Loki Mark II, and it's going to just ground move with its back here to try to provide some cover to our mechs that are going to be advancing here.
And because we have to move 2, we've decided now's the time to move the Flea. We're going to try something kind of crazy, and that is move as fast as he can. He's doing all the ground movement, running right between the big heavy mechs, spinning around, and he is placing himself in a spot where he's going to be able to hit the rear of a couple different mechs. So this ought to be interesting, John.
TTM on that of 4 and on the Loki of 1.
So speaking of Jade Falcons that have been on the board, Summoner is next using Brawler card 383. Let's see what he does. So this one was an interesting one to kind of figure out. He is going to be more aggressive in terms of his movement because there are moved items within 12, and because the Loki moved where it did, that's going to become its target. So it wants to get closer. It doesn't want anything that's moved, that has not moved, to be within 12 inches. It wants to occupy woods, but it really can't do that. So again, trying to retain what we believe for cover and whatnot. And we're going to spin him this way so everything's in his firing arc. He's going to wind up right here to take those shots against the Loki.
We're going to go with the Spider. Now we only have to move 1, and it's going to jump over this building, landing itself right here. So we're blocking our line of sight to all of the assault mechs, and if we want to, we can start shooting here. It's going to have a TTM of 4, and we are blocking it from having rear shots from that pesky tank that's going to have to go.
The Jade Falcons are definitely creating a little bit of a headache for us here, John. Doing some smart things, I think, in terms of limiting our movement. So Rifleman is going to move next. Sniper movement card 475. So there are some moved units here within 18 inches. In fact, 2 of them. And no unmoved enemies within 6. So we are going to be very aggressive here. At least as aggressive as the Rifleman can be for a capacity of 2 inches of movement. And in the woods, only 1. So it's going to do its ground movement. It's going to stay in the woods. It is going to have cover from as many things, and it wants to be able to target down the Flea. So this is kind of weird because of how facings go, but it's going to move its 1 inch to here. So this keeps the Flea within its firing arc. We have the most number of units that it can fire in, and there is nothing in the rear. So there's only the 2 over here that it can't, shoot at. They're not in its firing arcs, but that does make sense based on our interpretation of how this is supposed to move.
Oscout is going to be next, and we're going to play a little bit defensively with it, and we're going to put its rear here, and it's just going to ground move for a TTM of 3, and if it needs to, it can shoot down this way, but it's mainly guarding the rears of our big heavy mechs.
One final Jade Falcon to move, and that is the Yellow Fulcrum Heavy Hover Tank. So using Striker Hover Card 738, let's see what happens. So the ideal blue unit is what we're looking for, and that winds up being the Flea. Looking through the list here, balanced is the type of approach we're going to take. And the target's actually going to wind up being the Spider instead. So we're going to do some ground movement here to be able to target it and stay out of some line of sights from different things. And it's going to go around the building and hang out over here. And the reason it's doing that is we're going to limit fire from pretty much all the enemy pieces and that emplacement that's hiding in the background. So that pretty much ends our movement. TMM is 2, because remember we have a motive hit. That ends our movement for the Jade Falcons, and I think that's everything on our side of the board too, right, John?
Yes, it is. We're going to move on to combat.
Turn 2 combat, John. We fire first. And we're going to start with our 2 emplacements. We have a north and south emplacement. Both are going to be firing at the riflemen. Both are looking for 8s. Both have 1 set of dice.
So it doesn't matter which one's which, but just imagine that they're both shooting. And they both miss.
All right, well, moving on to the Shadowhawk. Shadowhawk also looking to fire at the riflemen. 4 dice looking for 6s.
We need how many hits to land?
3.
We need 3 hits to land, and the Shadowhawk has edge, so we can hopefully push it into the dead zone. I'm going to be really honest. That might be one of the best rolls I've made.
I mean, everything hit. Would you like to roll for a critical hit for something that's been removed from the table?
No, not this time.
All right, well, there's the rifleman. Now with our rifleman, and we're going to target the Fulcrum, the tank that's sitting here hiding in the corner. And we're looking for 8s on 3 sets of dice.
Can we get lucky and take multiple things out, Con? This does not have edge. That is going to be 1 hit on the Fulcrum tank.
Well, that is an internal hit, so we get to do 2 things. We get a motive roll and we get a critical roll.
What would you like to do first?
Let's do the motive roll.
Motive roll. It's going to be 5, so 6.
6, no effect, so roll for the crit.
Crit is going to be a 5.
So 5 is a fire control hit.
That's good for us.
That brings us down to the Spider, who's also going to fire at that Fulcrum, looking for 8s on 2 dice.
Can we get the 1 hit that we need to destroy this tank? Yes. And it's a crit, but we don't need to worry about it because it explodes.
Target is the Thunderbolt, and we really had to figure out how we wanted to shoot at this because order could matter. We're going to start with the Jade Hawk, and he's looking for 8s, 5 dice.
We have edge if we need it, and we're starting here because he doesn't have overheat. Okay, we have 3 damage. We're going to spend an edge point to bump that up to 4 damage hitting that guy.
All that is armor. All right, so the Warhammer is the next one. We've got 4 dice, but we are going to overheat, so we're actually going to roll 5 sets of dice. Again at the Thunderbolt. Let's see if we can get into the structure.
We're looking for 8s. Let's see what happens. If only we had more named pilots, we could have edged this into all hits, but instead we do 4 points of damage.
So there's all the armor on the Summoner. Wait, we're firing a Thunderbolt. So John, that gets 1 into internal structure thanks to overheat. What do we do?
Let's roll for a critical. Critical is 10.
That is a fire control hit. Fire control hits are good.
Fire control hits all around. Sadly, fire control hits only affected if you leave the unit alive for the next turn, and we really hope to kill this.
We do. So, Scout, John, we're changing our plans as we move along here, right? Scout only has one possible shot here at the Thunderbolt, looking for 8s, but if it hits, it's a crit.
Here we go. It is a miss, sadly.
Well, that's okay, John, because now the Loki can go. We start with 3 dice, 2 of which have heat, and then we can overheat it too.
So we have to play the game. Do we think we can get 3 hits on 5 sets of dice? I think we can. So we're going to overheat 2 to do that.
Let's do it.
The orange and the red dice are the heat dice. We rolled a ton of 7s and scored 0 points of damage.
All right, so we did not hit at all. We were looking for 9s on all 5 sets of dice. No hits. Fortunately, we're looking for 9s because there's a couple 7s in there. And because of the building cover, if we rolled an 8, building would have gotten hit. So we lucked out in one way, but not in another. John.
I'd rather just done damage to the building and destroyed the mech, but...
Well, that's okay because we can move on to our next big mech to try and take it out. Blood Asp, 6 dice. One of them has heat. You'll tell us which one it is.
Red.
The red ones. Are you gonna overheat this?
We're gonna overheat it because he has the coolant flush, and we
Okay.
can get rid of it. We need 3 hits on 8 dice, needing 8s to kill this mech.
Can we do it?
Okay, we're not gonna spend any edge because we got 5 hits against that mech, destroying it. So we have destroyed it, and in the end phase, we will see what Waypoint Lima has to say.
That's right, because technically it's not destroyed yet, but we can see it starting to explode. Mad Cat is the next one to fire. We're going to fire at the summoner. 7 sets of dice, looking for 7s. We have 8 hits total to destroy it. Maybe we get a lucky shot.
We talked about possibly overheating, but we need the Mad Cat to be in a good position to start gunning down the Bane in the next couple of turns, so we don't think heat's going to be beneficial just yet. Here we go with all of our dice. All of our low dice are very low, so no edge that can be spent, but we score 3 hits.
Leaves 1 armor point on it, John.
Hopefully we can take it out the next turn. We did pretty good. I feel like we took out 3 mechs so far.
Well, one more mech that we get to use here, John, and that's going to be the Flea. And we've decided, let's hit the back side of the Bane. So 3 sets of dice, looking for 5s because we're right there.
Okay.
You're the Bane. This is mean.
Let's try to do some damage. Ah, we just hit all 3 of them.
Hey, 3 hits on a Bane or 3 hits on a Bane.
Retaliation by the Jade Falcons now. They're going to be starting with the Bane. It's going to be shooting at the Rifleman, and it's going to be shooting a lot of dice. It's going to be needing 7s on 8 dice.
You know, John, what sucks about 8 dice, my little paws just barely don't hold on to them. I'm missing 2. Well, we split that 4 and 4, so 4 hits on the Rifleman.
It strips all of its armor, but you rolled a 12.
I
so
did.
You get a critical roll.
Here's the crit. 3.
That's going to be an engine hit on the Rifleman. The Marauder is going to shoot next, and it's also going to target the Rifleman. It's going to need 9s with 5 sets of dice. The Rifleman only has 3 health left.
Let's see what we do here. Maybe I'll get lucky and roll low. Only 1 hit, John. I came close to hitting it a couple times, but only 1.
That is going to be a critical roll, though.
Maybe I get lucky and roll one of the no crits. 6.
6 is a weapon hit. Next, we have the Thunderbolt targeting the Loki. It's going to need 5s on 7 total dice. Because the Thunderbolt is dead, it automatically will add in its overheat. So it is 5 dice plus 2 overheat against the Loki Mark II. This might be the end of a lot of our mechs, Ken.
I'm starting to wonder if that's not the case. All right, looking for 4s or less. That's what we're looking for. All right, John, I did manage to miss twice, but the overheat dice made a total of 5 hits.
Believe it or not, that is the remainder of its armor.
Oh, so actually not bad.
I actually feel pretty good now about overheating it, even though it did terrible this last turn, because it's not long for this world.
No, it really isn't. So we got to move on to the next mech.
That is going to be the Summoner, and it's going to be targeting the Spider. It's going to be rolling 5 sets of damage dice, needing 9s.
Here we go. Well, John, we've got 2 hits. One of them, unfortunately, is a floating crit, so that's not good.
That is all of its armor. What is the crit?
All right, let's roll up the crit. Crit is 10.
10 is a fire control hit. The Rifleman is now next, and it's going to be targeting the flea that hid in the back corner over here. It's going to be using its overheat, so it's going to be rolling 5 total sets of dice, needing 7s. The flea only has 3 health, so there's not a lot to it.
John, that's 4 hits, unfortunately. It's just too close.
That flea explodes.
Ouch.
Rolling the crit. 8 is a weapon hit. We're rolling it just in case it's a 2 and it's harder to recover or completely destroyed. The last thing to shoot is going to be the Fulcrum tank, and it's going to be targeting the Spider. It's going to get 2 sets of dice, needing 7s, and the Spider is in trouble.
See what we got. 1 hit.
1 hit, and that is going to be a critical chance for that.
7.
7 is going to be an MP hit.
So that's everything that fired, right, John?
Yeah, we did some damage, but we took a lot of damage returning.
We took a lot. So first thing we do here is apply damage. So let's actually take some mechs out, right? So the Thunderbolt has been taken out.
That is their commander, so we get a +2 for the remainder of this match for initiative, which should be helpful.
And that will also showcase Waypoint Lima. We'll get to that in a second, though. So next one to go down is the Jade Falcon Rifleman.
I have a feeling we're probably going to have to be moving this mech in a moment because it's
in the way.
It's carrying all the woods.
And then finally we have the Jade Falcon Fulcrum. So both tanks have been taken out. On our side, I think the only thing we lost was the flea, right?
Yes, we only lost the flea, but
we took some serious pummeling.
There's quite a few mechs that are now at like pretty much dead, especially with a Bane running around on the table.
Right. I don't think we have any mechs that have overheated to the point of having to shut down, but heat's now been applied on a couple different mechs here.
Our Blood Asp is going to spend 2 heat to coolant flush its 2 heat off.
Nice.
Lima. Star Captain Conrad Sender died as he lived, fiercely, brutally, and wholeheartedly, defiant and bloodthirsty to the last. He and his Thunderbolt 2C would have been targeted well, worth focusing fire, even if he had just another mech and not the enemy commander. As it is, taking him off the field is an absolute win-win. Not only has his powerful mech been taken out by a well-placed cockpit hit, but Sender himself is dead. Good. No one could survive that shot. Gain the keyword send-off. And then during the casualty step, we can roll to see if it's truly destroyed or not, and we have an opportunity to salvage it if we want.
Ooh, we'll get to that at the conclusion of this mission, folks. So checking through our primary objectives, we have destroyed the enemy commander, but there's still Jade Falcons we have to take out. Looking at the commander strategy decision, let's see what we're doing next. So we're going to move to Star Captain Command Card B, Bravo. Next turn, John, we reveal a waypoint. That waypoint is Waypoint Juliet.
Fully engaged with the Falcon Assault, you fail to notice a point of elementals rapidly bounding toward you. They must have snuck into the combat area without any of your forces noticing. Place a point of elementals, Unit 5, in base contact with the player with the most armor lost, plus most structure lost, plus highest PV. That player unit immediately rolls a critical hit. That is going to be our Loki.
Oh, look at that. Here's the Loki. And there are some elementals right around the corner from it. And it gets a critical hit.
Yep, you got to roll for me.
All right, well, let's see what I roll. 11. Ouch.
11 is an engine hit. That is very unfortunate for the Loki. I don't think the Loki's surviving this.
And I believe that's it, and we will go into turn 3 proper. Turn 3, John, we've made it into turn 3, and we get to roll some initiative dice, and the advantage we have, their commander's gone, they won initiative last turn, so they've got a -4, the Jade Falcons, that is.
Yes, they do. Doesn't matter when we roll absolute garbage. So they still win initiative.
Yeah.
Okay, our movement's going to start with the Warhammer, moving at reduced speed to here because of the heat. It is a TTM of 1, and it's going to attempt to shoot things.
On this side, we're going to do some mishmatching. The rifleman's going to kind of shimmy around and hang out right over here, staying in the woods, TMM of 1, and the Shadowhawk, on the other hand, is going to go as far as it can to the opposite side. And we are going to spend the edge point to kick us up with Nimble again to be at a TMM of 3. The first Jade Falcon force to move is going to be the Summoner, Brawler movement card 93. So looking at its ideal red, that'd be the Loki, but it hasn't moved yet, so we moved into balanced. And since there are enemies at 30 inches, we're going to look for our target, which still is the Loki. So using some ground movement, staying at medium range, we want to get a little closer to it, and looking to get cover. Our best option for the Summoner is to move up over here. And now let's see, probably more like that. And that puts us at medium range for an attack.
Okay, so the Loki Mark II, and I don't want to say the pilot's giving up, but he's going to go out in a blaze of glory because he's overheated and he has an engine hit and he barely can move and all that. He's just going to stand still so he gets the best shot he can.
The Spider, on the other hand, is going to quickly move around and spin around like so. And he is going to be in base contact for a melee action against the Summoner.
It has the fire control hit, which sucks, but it won't affect the melee attack then.
Nope, fire control is only on your weapons. So let's see what the Jade Falcons do next, because they are moving the Bane using the Juggernaut movement card 221. Running through the matrix here, we're going to find a cautious approach with the Bane, and we're looking to get closer to the Spider, which is our target. We want to be able to shoot it, we want to get into cover, and we want to try and occupy woods, so we're going here and probably turning more like that, just to keep everything kosher and not shooting at the rear end of us. TMM 1.
The Blood Asp. We've decided to move our heavier units aggressively forward. We drew the aggressive card. He's going to move his back end against there for a TTM of 2.
And the Timberwolf is going to crunch that tank, move right up alongside, throwing his back up against this building here. Also TMM of 2. John, I think we're surrounding the Summoner. Next to move is that Elemental, Ambush Infantry card 236. So we're taking aggressive stance here because we've got a bunch of ion raiders that have moved already within 8 inches. So it's going to target the Loki, of course. It's going to jump. It wants to be in base contact. It wants to be able to be closer to the target, which is hard to do. It has to move to retain its TMM. So John, what are we going to do with those elementals?
It's going to jump over here and block some line of sight from down the board, landing in base contact with the Loki, which is kind of what we thought it was going to do, especially when the Loki decided to stand still. Let me move some of these over here.
Now it gives us 2 mechs left to move in this final group of moving, and we have some interesting ideas, so let's see what we do.
Okay, Freddy is going to do what he loves. He's going to be doing some slashing. He's going to move into basically base contact with the elemental. He has a TTM of 2. Then the Scout is going to slide over here. So he has some options. He can shoot the elemental if he wants, or he can shoot the summoner, and he has a TTM of 3. Let's see where the last unit moves.
Last unit is the Marauder 2C6 using Skirmisher, jump strong card 714. Looking through the track, ideal blues and whatnot, and we've concluded that our best option here, well, what the AI is going to do is balanced approach, and it's targeting the Timberwolf of all things. So it's going to do some ground movement, looking to get closer, wanting to be able to shoot it, and it can squeeze itself in here into the woods to be able to shoot the Timberwolf. So that's where it's going to hang out. TMM of 1 though, because it did not need to jump. So that actually is a slight advantage for us.
Okay, that is going to conclude movement. We're going to be shooting first. We'll come back with all of our targets and see how much damage we can do to these heavy hitters on the Jade Falcon side.
So we're back with some shooting, and we're going to make some specific rolls in a specific order to try and take things down. So first thing we're going to do, Jade Hawk. We've got some elementals that we are in base contact with. We're looking for 7s, melee, just stomping on them. Potentially 4 damage, which will take them out.
Looking for 7s on 1 roll. I have edge to bump it up. I also have edge that I can spend to just completely re-roll if it's a complete whiff. But it is not. We just
11.
completely... I'm going to go with we kick them, right?
We kick 'em.
Just kick them one at a time as they explode from the Jade Hawk.
Oh, the little
attacking it.
battle armor goes flying, and I love it. Okay, so here we're looking at the spider. We're behind the summoner. Melee combat. We're going to try and punch the back, looking for 2 points of damage. We need a 6 on the Paradise.
An 11. Hey.
You're rolling these 11s here, John. I'm loving it. All right, two hits on the summoner.
Maybe I roll better with like small groups of dice than I do handfuls of dice.
Maybe you should just roll, you know...
Is that a crit?
That is a crit, so roll again.
Crit roll. It is a 9. I think that's a
Okay.
no-hit.
Yeah, no critical hit. Hellbringer, shooting at the summoner. We need 9s. We've got 3 sets of dice. 2 of those have heat. And John, do we want to overheat?
I don't think this is going to survive, so we're going to just overheat until we shut down. We have an engine hit, so we're going to add 3 heat to our already 2 heat. So we're going to be rolling 5 sets of dice, and what is our target number here?
We're looking for 9s.
Yeah, heat is not your friend. So let's see if we can do any damage to this. Our heat dice, if they hit, are going to be the red and the orange ones. We are going to score 2 hits.
2 hits and heat.
How much health does it have left?
1. So you get to roll a crit.
Here's the crit. It is an 8.
All
It's
right.
a weapon hit.
That's a 9.
That is a 9.
Yeah, so
that's
no
another
hit.
no hit.
Getting ahead of ourselves. That's okay. Because you know what, John? The Scout has 1 die, or one damage shot, 1 set of dice here. It's looking for an 8. Can it take out the summoner?
Let us see.
Yes!
It's nice when the dice finally work out in your favor. That's going to be a hit, and it's going to destroy the summoner.
Oh, that's funny. I love it. Okay, yeah, we've got a summoner that's been taken out. That's one enemy mech down, John. So it's time to reconsider some of our options in terms of what we want to do. Our Warhammer is the furthest thing away from kind of the action over here, and we're just going to decide if the only thing you can shoot at is the Marauder, so we're going to fire at it. We're looking for 9s on 4 sets of dice. No overheat.
Here we go. That is going to be 1 hit on the Marauder. Got to start somewhere.
Well, since we've started an attack series on the Marauder, we have 2 emplacements that can hit it. And north and south one, both looking for 9s, 1 die set each.
Okay. These are long-range shots because they're hiding in the corner, which is what we wanted to push them into. Both of those are going to be misses.
So we're going to start with the Timberwolf. Since we've already got a couple dings on the Marauder, let's keep firing at it. We've got 7 dice to shoot at it. We are looking for 7s because Gravehammer is skill 3 pilot. No overheat. Let's see what we can do.
7 sets needing 7s. We had a very poor roll here. We're going to spend some edge and we're going to do 3 points of damage.
Shadowhawk also firing at the Marauder over the river here. Looking for 8s, 4 sets of dice.
It also has edge, so we can try to bump up my poor rolling. Okay, I score 1 hit. We're going to spend an edge, and we're going to do 2 points of damage.
So we're going to fire with the Rifleman next, also at the Marauder. Still looking to get 8s, 3 sets of dice. John, I'm willing to bet that the Rifleman's just been watching and he's just going to roll a bunch of 11s right now.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, that's going to do 1 point of damage.
Well, we got some good news, John. There's no more armor on the Marauder.
How much health does it have left?
5. 1 mech left. That's the Blood Asp. Firing into the Marauder. We're going to add 2 heat here. So John and I had a fun conversation about that. So we're going to roll 8 sets of dice. You got 1 set that's heat.
Yep, that's going to be the red dice.
Okay, red dice are heat. Looking for 8s.
Okay, we score 4 hits, and then we spend an edge to kick us up into 5 damage to destroy the Marauder.
Well, I think that was definitely worth switching to the Marauder versus the Bane.
That's going to do it for our shooting, and now we're going to see what the retaliation is going to be. The Summoner is going to target the Timberwolf. It needs 7s on 5 sets of dice.
Here we go. Well, John, 3 hits out of 5 sets of dice.
Next, we have the Bane, and the Bane's going to be targeting the Rifleman. It's going to be rolling 8 sets of dice, needing 7s. That Rifleman only has 2 health remaining, so I do not think it's going to make it.
I have feelings that this is the end of the Rifleman. John, we have 5 hits of the required 2.
That Rifleman is going to explode.
Let's roll that crit dice just in case it's the not so good one.
It is going to be an ammo destruction.
Do we have case?
No! We're actually probably going to lose that. Okay, the Marauder is now going to shoot at the Shadowhawk. It's going to be using 5 sets plus 1 overheat because it's exploding, and it's going to need 9s.
All right, let's see how it does. Only 1 hit, John.
The Shadowhawk has enough armor to absorb that. We have 1 pip of armor left on that.
Okay. To Elemental.
Elementals are going to be doing an anti-mech melee style attack against the Hellbringer. It's going to be rolling 1 set of dice for 2 damage, needing 4s.
All right, here we go.
Yes, the Hellbringer doesn't die this turn. That is not what I expected.
No, me neither.
Okay, that is going to end the shooting phase for the Jade Falcons.
We're moving here into the end phase. Applying some damage, we have some destroyed units. So let's see what we got.
So this round, a lot of things exploded. The Elementals, the Summoner, the Marauder, and our Rifleman. I believe now we go into heat.
Yeah, so we actually have some heat on the table here, John.
The Blood Asp is going to burn off 2 more heat with its
coolant
flush. And the Warhammer is going to maintain its 1 heat. And the Loki is actually going to shut down.
Shutting down.
So it actually comes out of rotation also for us this next turn, because it's just completely gone. It has an engine head, it's overheated, it somehow survived when it shouldn't have, but hey.
I'm actually really surprised that's not the one we lost as opposed to the Rifleman, but hey, it happens, right? All right, so now we get to check objectives here. Again, I think we're in the spot where we have 1 other turn, because we have not quite wiped the map from all enemy units. There's 1 standing, so we're going to move on to another turn. Before we do that, though, we look at our commander strategy decisions. So let's see, this one might be interesting. If there's an enemy in one of your unit's rears.
No.
Well, now the only unit left is the Bane, so no. If there's any enemies with no armor.
Yes,
all right, so
that's the Spider.
We move to command card B, Bravo. And then we go to the next turn and waypoints on the turn track. So that moves us into turn 4, looking at waypoint Kilo.
You have no time to react as a point of elemental surge forth from a nearby building. They must have snuck into the combat area without anyone on your forces noticing. Place a point of elemental, Unit 5, in base contact with the player unit that is closest to a building. If there are multiple options, choose the player with the highest PV. That player unit immediately rolls a critical hit. That is definitely going to be on the Timberwolf. That is our most expensive thing, and it's touching a building.
All right, well, it came out of the buildings. We roll a crit against the Timberwolf.
That is very unfortunate.
Should I really be rolling this?
Yeah.
5.
I think 5's nothing.
I think you're right. 5 is no critical hit. So we lucked out.
We very much so lucked out.
And that is pretty much it, moving us now into turn 4 proper. Turn 4 initiative. First thing that happens is the move last is assigned to the Bane because of the Star Commander cards. And they have a -4 to their initiative roll.
If I could roll decent on initiative, let's check it out. Hey, we win that one.
I think we won that one, 9-1. Well, Elemental is using Ambusher Infantry card 316. So since this is the first one to move, it will not be aggressive. It's going to stay balanced. And it's going to target the Timberwolf and effectively jump over it like this. Staying in base contact. Going to attempt to take down the Timberwolf.
For our movement, we're going to start with the Jadehawk. The Jadehawk is going to swoop, see what I did there, all the way over here. And because it has a melee weapon, it can actually do melee at distance 2 inches. Okay. So it can do a melee here, and it has a TTM of 2. Following it up with the heat, the Warhammer is going to huff and puff along to about here, and it has a TTM of 1.
Shadowhawk is going to continue its little forest dance and just move over here, knocking some trees out of the way. TMM of 3 because we're going to spend that edge token so that we can retain our nimble status.
We don't really know what to do with the Oscout. It's already damaged. And if it gets shot at, it dies anyway. So it might as well have a good shot back. So we're going to just make it move over to here with a TTM of 3.
And going back to the Jade Falcons, we are moving the Bane with Juggernaut movement card 621. So they deal reds to the Spider, but it hasn't moved. So we're going to go to a balanced approach. And the Scout that we just moved hoping to get a good shot that wouldn't be sacrificed is what the target's going to be. But fortunately for us, unfortunately for the Scout, the Bane's just going to shimmy over here in the little bit of woods, and he wants to make a shot like so. And I think he might try to take down the Scout, but I'd rather him take the Scout down than something else.
Okay, so our last group moving, the spider is going to use, it's limping around because it has the movement hit, and it's going to try to move forward, and it's going to be in 1 inch, which is melee distance, so physical attack technically, of the Bane, so we don't have to worry about the fire control hit. Our 2 heavy hitters are going to walk forward right into its line of fire. We're going to be moving the Blood Asp and the Timberwolf right up, so both of them are going to be within close range of that Bane. That's it for movement.
Got a lot of firing here to come up, and John, we shoot first.
We shoot first, so we'll know what happens, and then the Bane can retaliate with the infantry.
All right, John, it's time for us to polish off the remnants of the 18th Falcon regulars. We're going to start with the Jade Hawk, though, who's taking a look at these elementals that are within melee range. We could potentially do 4 damage to them, rolling a 7.
Okay, I have edge and I have reroll, which I do not need
don't
because
need
I
it.
roll exactly a 7. And again, we're out there kicking and punching these elementals out of the air, destroying them.
Now, there is 1 Jade Falcon left, and my suspicion is that that Bane is going to stay alert and available as much as it can for the remaining portion of the combat. We're going to start with the Timberwolf. We have 7 dice, and John, I'm going to put 2 little red cubes by it because we are going to overheat this sucker, and we're going to roll 9 dice. We are looking for 5s because Gravehammer is a skill 3 pilot.
Here we go. 5s on a ton of dice. Even with 5, still managed to miss 2, and that's going to do a total of 7 points of damage.
And the Bane no longer has armor. Down
Beautiful.
to structural. 5 hits left to take it down, and I'm excited to see what we can do. So John, Blood Asp has 6 sets of dice. 1 of them has heat, and do we want to overheat the sucker?
It's the end of the game. We're going
Let's
to do
overheat it. So I'm going to add my 2 little blocks over here for you. Let's do it.
Okay, so the red ones are heat, LOL, if it survives. And we need 5?
We need 5 hits.
Okay, let's see if we can do it. The commander, Ion Raiders, has done the ending amount of damage. We scored 6 points of damage into that Bane, exploding it.
All right, we've taken them down, but John, they still get to shoot back.
Yes, this Bane has decided that it wants to target what has the least amount of armor, which just so happens to be the tiny little baby spider that has been pecking at everyone's feet the entire time. And it's going to roll 8 sets of dice against it, needing 5s. And that poor spider has 2 health left.
This is either going to be some of the lowest rolls ever, or watch me roll like 4 12s.
I'm going to say it's dead.
Yeah, I see a couple hits in.
Because the spider has energy, an ammo crit cannot destroy it, so we don't have to roll a crit on this unit. Next, we're going to be rolling the elementals. They're going to be targeting the rear of the Timberwolf because we got excited and didn't realize we gave it a rear shot, and it needs 5s for 3 sets of dice.
Let's see what happens to Timberwolf.
That's going to be 3 points
hits.
of damage, but it does not break through the armor.
That actually concludes the combat phase.
Yes, it does.
So we're going to move here into the end phase, and damage has been applied. So let's actually remove these destroyed units. Well, as you can see, our battlefield has changed a little bit, and we've got a couple downed units. Our Loki will finally start to power itself back up.
And I think we're just going to maintain heat on things because there's no reason to spend edge or anything.
There is not. So we do check our objectives here. And primary objective, destroy the enemy commander. Done. And be the only force with units on the map. Also done. We've accomplished our primary objective. And our secondary objective, John, not a single building got hit. So we also get the secondary objective. And that concludes this mission. So we should get a good positive outcome, John.
Named pilots earn up to 120 SP each. Cool. You did it. You stood. You held. The bloodthirsty 18th Falcon regulars have broken against you like waves crashing against the shore. But not without doing some damage. Hey. That's not right. We actually did really well and blocked all this damage. Next steps continue to epilogue. It was definitely worth it. We did amazing.
We did outstanding. It's over. Star Captain Conrad Sender is gone, and his influence over the Jade Falcon warriors on Apolakkia is no more. The 18th Falcon regulars are shattered, severely reduced in military might. The few warriors that survived retain their honor and look to begin their relationship with the merchant caste anew. The skirmishes in and around the capital city of Rhodes have left their mark. Damaged buildings and infrastructure can be repaired in time, but clan or not, the Apolakkians have proven themselves a steadfast people. The rebuilding work can begin soon, but for now, for the first time in a generation, the outlook of the population is bright. Apolakkia is free, and you followed through to the letter of your contract with the Alaya Mercantile League. It's time to get paid. If you have the keyword plant saved, the people of Apolakkia can continue to prop up their fragile ecosystem with their Department of Mega Engineering Machinery. And their economy and industry continue unabated. Missiles, rockets, bullets, and ballistic weapons can continue to pour from their factories. Natural gas can keep getting pulled from beneath the planet's crust. The farmers of Apolakkia can feed themselves, and the world can continue turning. Apolakkia becomes not only a valuable defensive position for, but a steady contributor to, the military capacity of the Mercantile League. Suitably impressed, the League has made it clear that you and your mercs are welcome to work for them at any time.
Rolling for Sender's mech. It's a 6.
So we get it?
We get it.
Cool.
Let's roll next for the Flea. Think we're looking for, again, a 4?
Yes, 4 more.
We're good.
Okay, that's good.
Then let's roll for the Spider.
Also good.
So all 3 of our pilots and mechs that destroyed, we're going to roll to see if they survive or not. And we got an 8, an 8, and a 6.
So 6 is wounded. Crew or infantry are wounded. Generic crew must be replaced. Named pilots are wounded and must skip the next sortie. So
We just do nothing because that guy is just on a mech that doesn't exist.
right.
I think that wraps it up.
I think it does. So now it's just income expenses, which we will take care of, and then you guys will see in that, and then away we go.